Welcome back to the program. Glenn, some of the issues that you are passionate about, that you want to fix.
Well, I guess it's just restoring that ability to vote on the use of water. So I would like the Keown elections sooner rather than later. They've been promised 2011 or 12. So, you know, if that's the promise, why can't it be now? So I would like those elections restored as soon as realistically possible.
As soon as we can. Yeah. And that's your main issue, that you obviously
one of the main,
openness is another one, because you've talked
water.
about that already.
Yep.
And Jamie, you'll have a list.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I'm very passionate about here. You know, there's lots of central city revitalisation, again, openness, water quality, very important, especially with the loss of a democratic voice elected at Keown. That's something where I think City Council can take a real lead in being the people's voice around here, because it's not going to occur at Keown level. Then the people there, the commissioners, are obviously not bound by electors. So I think Glenn's right. That's certainly a hot topic. For me, everything's changed. From September 4, we had some serious literal and metaphorical cracks exposed in Christchurch City. These existed before the earthquake, certainly the metaphorical ones anyway. And I think what is so brilliant, if there is any silver lining, and don't get me wrong, this has been an absolute tragedy for Christchurch, but if there is any silver lining at all out of all of this, is that we're absolutely forced as a council to address these issues in the city. There's a lot of things in the CBD, for instance, that don't make a lot of sense. Won't waste too much time about it, but you've got development contributions, likes of forcing car parking for people that want to put in an apartment. Don't even start on the hoops that you have to jump through with the urban design panel or earthquake strengthening type things. There's a lot of things that are direct contradictions in the direction council wants to go, and they punish people that are really putting their necks on the line and trying to do some positive stuff in Christchurch. And I was afraid that if I got into council, I might be a lone voice saying, hey, look, we really need to start trying to incentivise people to do the right thing here and not punishing them for sticking their necks on the line. And I think now we're forced to address this. And this is a hell of an opportunity for all of us as a city. And it could be a really defining moment for this council. And I'm excited about it. And I think it's so important that we do it properly.
4 minutes ago you started talking, you haven't taken a breath yet. No,
I'll get a chance when Aaron goes now.
Aaron, seriously, parking and the central business area,
major issues. Jamie's right. We have been forced into a situation where we have to change things around. I think that really the council needs to be turned on its head, Rob. Honestly, we have to restructure everything. We need to look at now the rebuild from the earthquake, and some of it's massive, and I don't think people quite fathom. You can say, oh yeah, there's all this work to be done. There's not even the workmen to cover it. So logically, you're trying to rebuild something the size of Ashburton. They're talking less than 2 years. It'll end up looking like Twizel, which won't be that popular. So we need to really, you've got to prioritise. You've got to now say, OK, the first most important thing, sewage, then water, then so on, and not still have your list and try and put in your bus exchanges and all those other things. All that work has to go into fixing up people that are sharing portaloos down their street. It's disgusting. Should not be happening. This isn't Bosnia. This is Christchurch. And then I think as a council, it's time to go out to the people and say, we're going to tighten the belt. What would you like us to cut back on? Ask the people. They've never ever done that. Just say, and they might say, well, let's close the art gallery one day a week, or the libraries, or whatever it is. We can all do without a little bit of something. What's that list? We're not making that list, and that will be the only way we can start to peg back that excessive spending, and which has to change.
Glenn?
Yeah, I think it's working behind the scenes too. So Aaron and Jamie have talked about our infrastructure. For me, it's the people infrastructure as well. Some of the street corner meetings, I can recall people were just holding it down, some of the emotion, some of the pressure that some of the families are under, and they were doing well, but I believe, need to work on our neighbourhood support systems and treat them, just come at them at a different angle, so to address some of the people issues there. And
law and order, is that working?
No, we got an award for being one of the safest cities in the world. That was just a joke. You know, I've known 5 people in my time that have been murdered in the city, and my mother was killed by boy racists. She's not in the 5. So I look at law and order in the city as being well out of control, and council has got a role to play, and it's just enforcing all the little bits. Imagine if we gave out as many fines for just the small stuff like littering as what we did for parking fines. Forget parking in town, let's just clean up the littering. You've killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Free parking, yet you get a fine for littering. We can get the revenue another way. So stop the antisocial small stuff, don't let them graduate to the big stuff. And the same with tagging. I want to see an instant fine for tagging. There's no fine for it at the moment. Makes no sense.
Glenn?
I accept the reactive side, but I want to really work in the proactive. So in our neighbourhood groups, when they work well, the police have grid maps of our city. They show where neighbourhood support systems are well in place, crime is lowered, so we never get rid of it. Graffiti is lower. So I would like to work at expanding those and working with some of the trusts in the city to develop some of our younger kids. With graffiti, we do need to attend to that, but also can we do that graffiti competitions, graffiti walls.
That's like giving free hookers to rapists. It's like you're encouraging the crime.
Yeah, what I'm saying is both. So we need to clamp down on the graffiti, but we also need to work at the other end. Some of the factors that have given rise to that.
I've seen a lot of work go into that other end, Rob, and the council falling over itself to give money to groups that do all the good work and breaking the cycle. So I say to them, so when will you be unemployed? And they're like, what do you mean? Well, if you're breaking the cycle and fixing all these people, you guys won't be needed soon. Oh, no, we'll never be in that situation. So how much money do we keep throwing at saving people that don't want to save themselves? At some point, you've got to say, people have got to harden up. New Zealand's got to harden up and just sort out your own problems within your own family and look after your city in the same sort of way.
Well, see, hardening up to hardening up to me is doing the proactive as well as the reactive. So, but it's a good discussion to have, and we can.
Brief reaction from you?
Yeah. Well, it's mission impossible, Rob, isn't it? No.
Well, it's worth a try.
No, I will keep it brief for you, my friend. I'm a very big believer in playing to your strengths. Like any good team, that's what they do. And I think that we have so many strengths in Christchurch. It's really a matter of making sure that these communities are strong, making sure that our businesses are prospering, and I think once you start getting all these great strong foundations in place and we start getting success in our local communities, business communities, church communities, then these positives are extrapolated out throughout the entire community. So that's really where my focus is, in building a strong foundation. Hopefully we can build from that, because we're all here for the same reason, and it's exciting.
It's lovely to see 3 new councillors so enthusiastic and power to your elbow. Thank you very much indeed. That was NewsMakers for another week. Giles will be hosting you next week.